truthfully, once I learned about these 7 things, it was like someone had taken off a blindfold I've been wearing for decades. Welcome to Media Lab, my name is Kyle, and here we believe that a creator's value shouldn't be based on their follower count. So I just finished reading this book called Primal Branding by Patrick Hanlon, and I think it is essential reading for every YouTube creator. So I want to go through all 7 items, what they mean, and how you can use them in your channel today. Full disclosure, I did take Tim Schmoyer's video creators course where I was introduced to this book and had a chance to talk to Patrick himself. So the book is about how certain companies have become bing bong successful. I'm trying not to swear, therefore bing bong. So just imagine I'm saying the most filthy thing. Something like, don't forget to subscribe and sign up for notifications. Can you imagine? Gross. Anyway, the book presents how the most successful companies follow these 7 things. It's not that you can't be successful without all 7, it's just that the most successful companies do have all 7. And yes, while it is about companies, I think personalities, brands, podcasts, and even YouTube channels are all super similar. So the first is the creation story. There needs to be that great story about why it is you're doing what you're doing. Think of Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs in the garage as they started Apple. Or Steven Spielberg sneaking onto the Universal lawn and wandering through different movie sets. Or here on YouTube, think about the story of Phil DeFranco living in his car after having sold everything except for his computer and camera so that he could start making videos, which eventually led him becoming the influencer that he is. The story mythologizes what it is that you're doing, and people love to align with that story so they can justify why it is that they like it. Which is why politicians use their backstory so often in their platforms. People care about the story more than they care about policy, no matter what anyone tries to tell you. So bringing up your story occasionally in your videos allows people to latch onto it and want to learn more. The creed. This is what you stand for. And for me, this is the hardest one to really nail down. This is not I make gaming videos or I shoot beauty vlogs. It's more than that. It's why you're doing what you're doing. It can be boiled down to a short little phrase. Think of Nike's "just do it." That encapsulates everything that company stands for. It can also be more grandiose, like every man is created equal, which is like the centerpiece of the independence of documentation. That's not what it's called. The independence of documentation. I hate people writing things down. No representation without punctuation. I misspoke. I apologize. Of course, it's the Declaration of Independence. That's the centerpiece of that. All men are created equal, and as much as I would have liked them to include women in that sentence, the guiding light behind that is that it doesn't matter like what station you're in or who the individual is, that everyone has the same shot. It is what the United States is built on. Still to this day, some of my favorite creators are the Vlog Brothers, and theirs is DFTBA, Don't Forget to Be Awesome. It supports everything they do. A creed is important because it helps you guide that ship. Does this thing that I want to do support my creed? Then great, do it. If it doesn't, then do not do it. You'll lose way more than you gain. Like I said, this is the why behind what you're doing, and it can take a while for you to nail it down. The icons. These can be many things: visual, audio, even smell. But they're the things that you identify as being part of that person or brand or thing that you love. McDonald's has its arches, Cinnabon has that smell, which just makes me want to stop and bathe in it, which is why my hips are to die for. TV shows use their theme song for this. I loved David Letterman, so I knew every time he raised up that blue cue card that it was time for the top 10 list. Phil DeFranco has that monkey. Every time I see it, I know that that is him. But you'll see many big YouTubers do this. They'll have the iconic glasses or wear the same hat or the same t-shirt or use the same music. All of these are icons. And they allow the audience who watches you again and again feel comfortable every time they get to see you because those are the things they see all the time. The rituals. These are the things you do all the time. Maybe you start videos the exact same way or have a sign-off that you use for every video. You also kind of want to become that ritual experience for people, just like how people go to the same coffee place every morning or sit at the same table at their favorite restaurant. So having videos come out on the exact same day helps people put you into that ritual. But think of how Apple packages its devices. There's a ritual in opening them up, or how you're meant to walk through IKEA and apparently not grab a fistful of meatballs. Thanks, Karen. Or smelling that popcorn when you go and see a movie, scanning your ticket, sitting down. All of these are rituals. The pagans or non-believers. This is the one that actually surprised me the most. For you to truly be seen as one of the greats, you have to have people who just don't get you. There are Apple fans, and then those who will never ever buy one of their products. There are those who are Xbox or die, and then those that will only ever buy PlayStation. You have the people who enjoy vanilla ice cream and the monsters who like chocolate. If you don't have people who are against you, it's kind of hard to move the needle. Because if you're only creating mediocre stuff that people literally just don't care about one way or the other, then there's not a chance for people to latch onto something that they love, as opposed to the people who hate it. So the hard part is not being mediocre, to create those things that people want to see again and again, and the people who don't get those people at all. I'm not saying it's easy. The sacred words. These are different than the words you use all the time. These are words that are only for the in-group, the people who are watching you constantly. In fact, these are words that could just confuse people who are not in the know. Like if I started talking about faces and heels and kayfabe in relation to wrestling. Or if you start talking about double jumps and Goombas and Tanuki suits for Mario. Mario? Whatever. Vlogbrothers have a lot. DFTBA is one of them, but Nerd Fighters, World Suck, and Project for Awesome are other examples. These are words that hold a special meaning for the people who care about them. And for other people who hear them, they'll have no idea what you're talking about. These could be words that already exist, like if you're a tech reviewer or a beauty vlogger, or they could be words that you have made up your own. Or better yet, if your audience has made them up, you can start using them to create that bond. Finally, there's the leader. It's not that you have to be necessarily charismatic, although that certainly helps, and boy, could I use that. But it's that leader that can help push forward that vision that you're creating. During the late night wars, you were either a Letterman or somehow a Leno fan. Disney struggled for years after Walt passed away because there was nobody who could take over for him. Elon Musk is eccentric, but I don't think Tesla would be half as popular as it is without him as the leader. But think about the most popular channels. PewDiePie, love him or hate him, is a very particular style and is pushing his vision forward. Phil DeFranco, the Vlogbrothers, Hannah Hart, other people I'm probably not cool enough to know about, all of them have this strong presence as the leader. And all of these leaders are able to call to action their followers whenever they need them to. These are the 7 things that are key to help growing large. They are not easy. I'm not trying to say that they're easy to accomplish, but they're the 7 things that you really keep top of mind. Now, you still have to make good content, or at the very least, content your audience wants to watch. What's amazing to me is how some of the early YouTubers were doing all of these things without actually knowing they were doing these things. And I guarantee you, if you look at the majority of brands, podcasts, YouTube channels, they are utilizing all 7 of these traits, sometimes without you even realizing it. I want to continue this conversation with you, so next week I'm going to highlight a specific creator who is utilizing all 7 of these primal branding elements. Until that time, you can watch some of these videos that I think are some of the best that I've created for this channel. You can also go down to the Bing Bong comments and tell me what creators you think are doing these primal branding elements. And until next time, thanks for dropping by the lab.